If you're considering a move to Holly Springs, there are some extremely exciting changes coming to town in the next couple years. You definitely want to know about these. Stay tuned, here we go. Hi, I'm Heather Taylor, founder of Tailored Realty Group, where we create real estate experiences tailored to who? That's right, tailored to you. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, would you mind liking and subscribing? I would truly appreciate it. So here's the deal. Downtown Holly Springs is about to have a major glow up, and I want to share all this information with you. Also, if you've done any research on Holly Springs, you know there's a landfill and a nuclear power plant here that inevitably end up on everybody's con list when determining whether Holly Springs is the right place for them. So today I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to share with you the very exciting details of the long-range plan for downtown Holly Springs. The plan makes me kind of think of Cary downtown and the way that town has come together over the last several years. And while Holly Springs plan is still a long way away from being complete, from a real estate perspective, now's the time to get in. Because once it's done, I'd anticipate prices are going to be significantly higher. And secondly, I'll dig into the extent to which the landfill and the nuclear power plant impact the lives of Holly Springers, Holly Springians, people who live in Holly Springs. So, is Holly Springs right for you? Let's find out. First, let me drop some general knowledge on you about Holly Springs. Holly Springs has experienced rapid growth in the last couple of decades. Like back in 2000, Holly Springs population was less than 10,000 people, and now it's topping 50,000 and anticipated to grow to over 80,000 in the next 15 years. Holy cow. That's a lot of growth, my friends. It may surprise you to know that Holly Springs has also become a global biotech hub with massive investments from companies like Amgen, Fujifilm, and Securus, who realize that the location right here in Holly Springs is cost effective and the local talent already exists because there's so many top-tier universities nearby. If you're wondering where in the world is Holly Springs, it's about 30 minutes from RDU Airport and RTP, and then 30 minutes also from Raleigh and Durham, and only about 35 minutes from Chapel Hill. It's about 20 minutes from Jordan Lake, which is a great recreation area. And if you're looking to take a road trip, it's just 3 hours to the mountains and a little over 2 hours to the beach. I'd say that's a pretty stellar location. Now, as far as quality of life here in Holly Springs, there are plenty of parks for outdoor enthusiasts, a brand new state-of-the-art hospital, new strip malls with conveniences like big box stores and chain restaurants, and bonus, highly rated schools. The bottom line is Holly Springs is a rapidly growing and evolving suburb of Raleigh, and fortunately, the town has taken all of that into consideration when planning for a new downtown. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos about Cary and Apex's downtowns, you've probably gathered that I believe a lively and walkable historic downtown makes life better for the town's residents. It brings people together, it boosts the local economy, it encourages fitness, and it creates a real sense of belonging. Okay, so let's dig into the Holly Springs downtown area plan. After taking feedback from residents of Holly Springs, a plan was approved at the end of 2023 to create a more cohesive, walkable downtown. The new downtown plan takes what currently exists in Holly Springs in the Village District and expands it to include surrounding areas, amenities, and parks. 5 priority items have been identified and will be addressed in the next 5 to 10 years. The 5 items are Mims Park, a public market, a festival street, a curated downtown, and Greenway Connections. Let's dig into what all that means, okay? Okay, beginning with number 1, Mims Park. Who doesn't love a park, by the way? The town owns a large parcel of undeveloped land near the library and cultural center. Take a look at that on this map. If you take a look at some of the park recommendations, you can see some similarities between this park, Mims, that will be, and what Cary has done with their downtown park, which has been wildly successful. So take a look at some of these ideas. Okay, the second priority in this plan is a public market. Now, Holly Springs Farmers Market is a really popular event that's held weekly outside the library and cultural center. The idea of a public market is to create a permanent space that supports not only the farmers market, but other events throughout the year and throughout the week and all year long, you know what I'm saying. If you check out these renderings of the public market, you can see that outside would contain landscaping, streetscaping, art, play areas for kids, and then the whole thing would tie into this new festival street, which brings us to number 3, the festival street. Now, you may be wondering what a festival street is, and you've definitely seen them in other cities, but maybe just didn't know that's what they were called. A festival street is a street that can be temporarily or permanently closed to vehicles to encourage a festival atmosphere. So Avant Ferry Road's location between the library and the cultural center and South Main Street makes it a perfect location for a festival street. Check out these renderings, they all look pretty cool. So by adding the public market and the festival street, you can see that the disjointed parts of town would be infilled to create a more cohesive space between Mims Park, the cultural center and library, and the new public market and existing downtown shops. All right, now the fourth priority item is Greenway Connections. So the Greenway Connections would create a network of greenways that allow residents to reach the new downtown area by foot or using bike. Bike lanes would be added to some streets, and then other paths would be created. And if you take a look at this map, you can see there's a lot of neighborhoods near downtown that could be connected and make this downtown a very walkable destination. Now the fifth priority is a curated downtown. You may be wondering, what exactly does that mean? It basically means keeping the small town charm feel intact by making sure that the architecture design, the tenant types, and things of that nature are consistent with the small town feel and identity here in Holly Springs. Specific goals around that ideal is to include infill retail on the ground floors and office spaces on the upper levels, ideally bringing about 15% of all of Holly Springs employment downtown. On top of that, building heights would be restricted to just 4 stories, and streetscapes would include pavers, tree canopies, street furniture, and public art. Setbacks would also be increased to encourage patio dining. I love me some patio dining. And then there would be some infill residential to bring about 3% of Holly Springs households downtown. So, given that Holly Springs already has the beginning of a cohesive, walkable, historic downtown, these improvements will level up the downtown and create something similar to like an Apex or Cary, but with its own distinct vibe. So my 2 cents is this is all really exciting. Personally, I live in Apex, which is just 1 town over, and we have a pretty cohesive downtown, and my kids are teenagers and they love it. They love being able to get together with their friends downtown and shop and eat and just walk down there, which I think is pretty cool, and I think Holly Springs will have that same feel. In fact, personally, I've been looking for investment properties near the downtown because I think once this whole project is completed, the values will increase dramatically. Okay, so to be fair, we can't just talk about all the good without at least addressing the bad. So let's get into the landfill and the nuclear power plant. Okay, so the Southern Wake landfill is located just off Highway 55 on the Holly Springs Apex line. In fact, it's technically an Apex, although Holly Springs is the one that usually gets the bad press about it. The common questions people ask are, can you smell it? Is it polluting our water? And how long is it going to be in operation? So let's tackle those 3 items. First of all, you should know that beginning in August of 2020, measures were taken to reduce the odor at the landfill. So now at night, they do a slightly different process than they used to do. They actually cover the whole open part of the landfill with dirt and industrial tarps. And since they started doing that in 2020, complaints of odors are down significantly. Take a look at this graph to see what I mean. Okay, so what about the water? The landfill is designed with an impermeable liner system to separate the trash from coming in contact with the surrounding soil and water table. The groundwater around the landfill is monitored through an extensive system of perimeter wells to ensure that the liner system is performing as expected. I gotta tell you, I did not know that prior to researching for this video, so the fun facts you learn as a videographer. And as far as when it opened and is closing, it opened in 2008. It's expected to close in 2040. Now, another fun fact that I learned while doing this research is that the gas created by the landfill is converted into methane, which is chemically identical to natural gas, who knew? So it can be pumped into existing natural gas pipelines to heat homes and fuel vehicles. Hi guys. Anyway, if you want to know more about the landfill, the county actually offers free educational landfill tours. And I remember a friend of mine telling me this, oh, you can do a tour of the landfill. I'm like, who would want to do that? But now that I've learned all these things, I'm like, wow, there's a lot more to a landfill than I realized. Anyway, I'll include a link to all that information in the description of this video below. So now let's move on to talk about the nuclear power plant. Sharon Harris Nuclear Power Plant is located in New Hill, which is just outside of Holly Springs and Apex. In fact, if you're in the area, you may notice a tower with a white cloud being released from the top. What you're seeing there is the water vapor from the nuclear power plant's cooling towers. So anyone living within a 10-mile radius of the power plant is within the emergency planning zone. This means not only part of Holly Springs, but also Apex, Fuquay-Varina, points west in Chatham County, and parts of Harnett County. They're all within the evacuation zone. Again, Holly Springs, I feel like, bears the brunt of like the cons of the nuclear power plant, but really it's a 10-mile radius is pretty large. And I'm not an expert on nuclear power, but I did do some research. It seems that the risk of harmful radiation to humans caused by an event at the nuclear power plant is really super low, but it's still something you should be aware of. And if there's an emergency, you want to know what you need to do. I will include the link for all of that information also in the show description below. It's also important to know that they do test the emergency sirens quarterly, and it's good to know what the heck is going on because you might hear them and be a little bit freaked out. So the test dates are included on the Duke Energy website and on some local town well-known websites. I'll also include those in the notes below. So what are your thoughts on the landfill and the nuclear power plant? Would those two things keep you from living in Holly Springs? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I'd probably be hesitant to purchase a house in an area that even has a chance of some odors filling up my nostrils from the landfill. But that only really rules out a couple of neighborhoods in Holly Springs. I do, however, live within the 10-mile radius of the nuclear power plant, and it's just something I don't really think about. I've been here 15 years, and knock on wood, there's never been an incident. Somebody please knock on wood. Ultimately, though, I suppose you have to determine whether the good outweighs the bad for your personal situation. All right, well, thank you for checking out this video, and if you want to reach out to me, you know how to do it. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you next week. Please like and subscribe if you like the video. Thanks.